My people, my people. Thank you, guys. Every week you come back, I can't believe it. Well, folks, it's time to celebrate. It's Independence Day. All right. No, it's not the 4th of July. It's a different but equally patriotic and historic type of Independence Day. For today, we're not celebrating our independence from Britain, which, to be quite clear, was probably a mistake when you consider how much better off America would be if we just toughed it out with the whole royalty thing. Sure, we wouldn't have had African American vernacular English, but we'd have universal health care, and guns would be illegal. Literally the only downside would be our proximity to the fascist transphobe J.K. Rowling. No. Today we celebrate a different independence for America. For today is the day before that Donald Trump will finally be arrested. Okay. All right. It's gonna happen any minute now. Or so I've been led to believe by foul-mouthed Democrat surrogates on Twitter. I know many of you are thinking, didn't we already hear this? Weren't we promised an arrest by Mueller? And what about the documents at Mar-a-Lago? As much as I hate to admit, those turned out to be nothing burgers. What's a nothing burger, you ask? Well, it's like an Impossible Burger, but instead of being made out of Bill Gates' lab-engineered cancer meat filled with the vaccines, it's made out of the wine sweat dabbed off of JoJo from Jersey's cold gray labia during one of her menopausal rants. But this time, we've got him. For real. Yes, folks. Donald Trump is finally going to jail for the crime of fucking a porn star. All right, let's hear it. All right. Hold on. Wait a second. That's what this is about? Am I reading that right? Donald Trump is going to jail for getting too much pussy? And this is supposed to hurt him? Folks, this is terrible, terrible news. Look, I may be a radical left centralist, but I'm not a moron. I maybe go to the bathroom in my pants, but I wasn't born yesterday, despite my baby penis. I know that no matter what Donald Trump is arrested for, it'll make him a martyr for his base. He won't lose any votes. And most liberals know this also. We're not looking to hurt his chances in 2024 by sending him to jail. We just want to see him suffer at the hands of the justice system that we will do everything in our power to tear down and rebuild just as soon as we're done using it to put Donald Trump in jail. When we close our eyes and imagine Donald Trump going to prison, we don't imagine him sitting in a cell, missing his cell phone, and thinking about what he's done. No, of course not. Let's be honest. We imagine him being turned into someone's wife, bent over and sodomized, turned out and abused, begging for mercy until his spirit is broken and he's reborn as a feminized sex slave who answers to whichever man currently owns him. That is what he deserves for January 6th. That is what he deserves for leaving poo-poo on Nancy Pelosi's MacBook. And I've never been to prison, despite how often I fantasize about it. So I can't call myself an expert. But I do know one thing. A guy that gets sent to jail for fucking a porn star will not be getting molested in there. And that's not okay. Not for Donald Trump. If we send him to prison for fucking Stormy Daniels, he will be treated like a king in there. And we can't have that. In fact, that kind of arrest would absolutely have an impact on the election, and not in the way that we want. Because let's be honest, when we close our eyes and we imagine Trump holding on to someone's pocket, being strolled out into the yard like Vanna White giving out handies to the boys like she's flipping vowels, covered head to toe in semen, it's not choir boys we imagine doing it. No. It's the sex beast that sits at the heart of the sadomasochistic liberal fantasy, the criminal, both dream of saving, but also employing as a tormentor demon, set upon our enemies like some sort of giant-dicked dragon. And what if Donald Trump somehow wins those guys over on the inside? Well, I worry about what that would mean on the outside. If somehow the minorities we haven't managed to arrest yet find out that Donald Trump is cool in there, we can kiss 2024 goodbye. So as sad as I am to say it, I really think we're going to have to pass on this arrest, because justice involves a lot more than courts. It involves a lot more than charges and jail time. If Donald Trump isn't going to be raped in prison, then it's a truly broken system. And I'm willing to wait for the one that actually works for the people. Anyways, we got Norman Finkelstein this week. Stay tuned, guys. Great show. Great show.
You have one unheard message. First unheard message sent yesterday at 7:15 p.m.
David, it's your boss, Adam. I'm sorry I've left so many voicemails today. I'm just a little bit in my feelings right now about this whole indictment thing. I want to do something for the show, maybe to like express the hell that I've been through. Not just me, but also black, different kinds of people in this country. But I don't know. I was just thinking like a pitch for the show is maybe like we could do like kind of for like a moment of levity, like just to kind of like decompress from the pain. I could like, and don't tell Nick, but because maybe I could play a song. I don't know. Maybe like help people heal a little bit. Just like not comedy, but just like, all right. I don't know. Just let me know what you think. Okay. I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do you? It goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift, the baffled king compose. Sorry. The baffled king the baffled king composes hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah. Just ignore this message, please.
End of message. To delete this message. Message deleted.
The former literary editor of the New Republic, the best magazine in the world, mind you, said of our next guest, he is a poison, he's a disgusting, self-hating Jew, he is something you find under a rock. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome political scientist Norman Finkelstein. Big clap. Let's get a clap. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
It's going to be like the Algonquin Round Table. Is that the sense you get from being here?
I'm not sure. I'm not accustomed to being around so many 30-year-olds at once. My students are in their 20s, but I keep a very strict classroom, and I'm an old-fashioned teacher.
You spank?
I don't spank, but I don't allow any electronic equipment in the class. The class runs 3 hours. There are no breaks, and I take teaching seriously. I take young people seriously.
I'm also quite stupid.
I'll tell you, I doubt that.
No, I'm really dumb.
I would say that young people nowadays, their minds are still they are nimble, they are quick, but their written skills are dreadful, and that's painful, you know, because when I assign papers, the prospect of grading them, I dread it because my whole mind twists into knots trying to figure out what the students are saying. A large number of students are coming to college almost literally, not ever having read a book.
I've read
as shocking
numerous.
as shocking as that may sound.
Yeah.
I taught up until 2007, and then when I was denied tenure, because the case was so high profile, I was effectively blacklisted for the next 15 years.
And this is, of course, a result of your public spat feud with Alan Dershowitz.
I would say that was an
A large
element,
part?
a component.
Well, I found out about you because of the debate between you and Dershowitz, which is a pretty famous YouTube video.
It actually had two parts. There was one formerly part of the show, and then there was a second part, and I think both parts now are online.
Right.
But then about 5 years ago, maybe a little more now, I met Professor Dershowitz in an Indian restaurant. on
How was the
Upper East Side.
food?
I forgot the food.
A little biryani.
No idea.
What was he eating?
No idea.
Probably something sick, something real gross.
I can't tell you.
And so he
that.
was sitting there with O.J. Simpson
No.
and Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah. Have you ever said that to him?
Actually, no.
Like, why are you on that plane, bro?
I can't say I know all the details now.
You saw his name on that list. You were probably like, nice.
No,
What are you talking? Come on, let's be real. You saw that he went to a pedophile island. You weren't like that.
I don't like to personalize this thing with Dershowitz.
But it is personal. It was your career.
But I think there's a lot of this fake shock about him, because if you look at his actual career,
Yeah.
okay, there was this impresario named Sal Hurok. And Sal Hurok had cultural exchanges between the Soviet Union and the United States. The JDL, the Jewish Defense League, this right-wing Jewish organization, they planted a bomb in Sal Hurok's office. Didn't kill Sal Hurok, it killed his secretary. And Dershowitz was the lawyer for the 3 JDL members who killed the secretary, and he got them off, okay? And he was very proud about that fact. His next cases were mostly pornography cases.
Nice.
He was the lawyer for I Am Curious Yellow. It was the first.
What is that?
It was the first foreign pornographic film from France. that
What
came
is
to
the
make.
yellow about?
I don't remember.
Well, you can imagine.
No, actually, I couldn't. But maybe.
Was
my-
it a pee-pee movie? Well, yellow. If you haven't had a lot to drink.
Okay.
But he defended that?
Yes.
That's
And
kinda cool.
then when the star of Deep Throat said that she had been raped on the production by Harry Reams, Harry Reams was the star of Deep Throat.
Uh-huh.
He was Harry Reams' lawyer. Then he was O.J. Simpson's lawyer.
Hell of a running back.
Yeah.
RB1.
And then he was Mike Tyson's lawyer, who was accused of rape. You do see a pattern here.
Bad
So-
boys.
Everybody is so shocked about the Epstein episode, but why?
Well, it's not fucking a kid to...
Excuse me?
Sorry, pardon me. We'll run that again. Well, it's not like
I think
there's a
rape is a
principle
pretty
in the
serious
American
issue.
justice system. I'm not
Mhm.
defending Dershowitz, that everyone's entitled to a really expensive defense.
If it were one case or 2 cases, then you could say, okay, he's just acting in conformity with his profession, a lawyer, supplying the best defense. But when you see a pattern, then it seems to me it raises a separate issue.
Well, the pattern is he did a good job of getting bad boys out of trouble.
Alan Dershowitz defended Epstein the first time and
Uh-huh.
got him effectively off, okay? He said, my only regret is
Yeah.
that he had to serve even 1 day in jail.
How stoked were you when you saw his name on that list?
How what?
No, you're a dignified man. I'm not going to make you... You're not a muckraker. I'm not going to make you play in the mud.
He,
You don't have to say you're excited, but
no.
maybe just to like
I'm-
pull an
if
earlobe.
No, because frankly, if he's going to come down, I would rather have him to have come down on other things, personally.
Sure.
In my high school, 3 years ahead of me was Chuck Schumer, the current majority
Uh-huh.
leader.
And he was a dummy?
No. Schumer was a brilliant guy.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no taking away that.
He's a cool guy.
No,
He's not a cool guy.
no, he was a brilliant guy.
He's cousins with
He looked-
Amy Schumer, you know that?
Yes. Chuck Schumer went to my high school, Madison High School, and so did Bernie Sanders. They both came from lower middle class backgrounds. Chuck Schumer's father was an exterminator.
Not the
Not the
bad-
Nazi kind.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
the rodent kind.
Don't say that either. We have a drama about that at the studio right now. Nick went nuts when he found a mouse in a glue trap, and he's like, "This is inhumane." I was like, "It's vermin, Nick." And he took it to a vet. He drives me insane. You like Bernie?
I did.
Well, you stopped liking him?
I don't like a lot of what he's been doing since Biden got elected.
He's the only guy.
He's what?
He's the only guy.
He's
And there's never gonna be. He's the last guy too.
when you say the
You
last
know what
guy-
I'm saying.
No, I don't.
They're all demons.
They're all what?
They're all bad people. Have you ever talked to a guy this stupid? I bet you feel like you're on the subway talking to like a vagrant or something right now.
No.
I want to get to your book, but I want to ask you: did Chuck Schumer? Did you get chicks?
I know you won't. You're a young man. I know. No, you're.
I'm a dickhead. You don't have to answer that.
You're a young man.
So we got
and
mad
you,
girls.
You couldn't envisage what it was like back then.
Sock hops,
Uh,
soda jerks,
We were
hot rods.
so competitive, so ambitious
Yeah.
that those sorts of thoughts, I know you won't believe it,
Come on, bro.
no, would never have crossed our minds. You know, my high school, its graduates included Judge Judy,
Oh my God.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Schumer.
I would rather her be on the Supreme Court, Judy. Imagine her yelling. Imagine during when Bush is stealing the election. You're not listening to me. My friend, his parents live on the Upper East Side, and he went to like Yom Kippur or something with his parents, and Dershowitz was there. And I'm gossiping, and he had a neck brace on. How funny is that? That's hilarious.
Dershowitz in a neck brace.
I mean, you can never take someone in a neck brace seriously. You know I'm gonna laugh. I know you're in pain, but it's so funny.
I think this is a moment where I may cry. Crying at the fact that I agreed to be.
Why? You're not having fun? Oh my God, you Ivy League types. I had to grow up playing stickball, fighting my way out of suburban
Bernie
Las
often
Vegas.
talks about playing
What?
stickball.
He's a great athlete.
He was a 4.3 minute mile.
Unreal.
If you read his book, Our Revolution, the only thing he recollects from like the first 15
Is his
years.
mile? Have you guys met?
No,
I feel like you guys would love each other.
I don't know.
If you meet him, you should shut up about it. Oh, you're too nice to buy. They're gonna kill him. They never let a Jew.
In
I'm
case you
teasing.
don't know, there are a lot of Jews in
Come on. They let us be Supreme Court.
Secretary of State Blinken.
That guy's a real piece of shit.
Blinken.
Yeah.
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 We can agree on that one. Yes, the murder industries.
They're doing a Halliburton.
I wish I could joke about that, but you know, I live down by Coney Island,
Uh-huh.
and Coney Island now is about half
Russian,
Russian
yeah.
and half Ukrainian.
Right.
It's something very hard to joke about.
horrific.
Because that war, there is no reason why that war had to happen. First of all, it was only a fluke that Crimea ended up as part of Ukraine. Khrushchev, the premier of Russia, Khrushchev, in 1954, nobody knows exactly why, he decided to hand over Crimea.
Yeah, it's like the
to
Middle
Ukraine.
East. It's arbitrary.
It was completely arbitrary.
Yeah.
So, leaving Crimea aside, if you just fast forward up to February 2022, it could so easily have been resolved.
And also, for the record, I hate war. I wasn't joking about it. But I mean,
I frankly, given my family background, that's one of those topics you're not allowed to joke about.
War?
Yes, I'm going to tell you something about that. There's often it's said, and I talk about it in the book I
Right.
just wrote.
that's a good
that
segue.
There
We
are
could talk about it.
certain taboo topics about which you can't joke. So I say, okay, I'll agree with that. Rape, no joke. Genocide, no joke. On the Nazis and the Nazi Holocaust, actually some of the best-known films were comedies. The Great Dictator, at least until the last speech,
Right.
was a comedy.
When I was a kid, I thought Charlie Chaplin literally was Hitler. Seriously.
I can understand that.
Uh,
There was a great film by Ernst Lubitsch called To Be or Not to Be.
It's so funny. Jack Benny.
Yeah, Jack Benny, yes.
I love Lubitsch.
Great comedy.
Yeah.
And then the producers. I still remember my mother walking through the house
Sure.
laughing, "It's springtime for Hitler
In
and
Germany.
Yeah. So you managed to make
Winter for Poland and France. Yeah.
you managed to make humor out of it, which my family didn't find offensive.
Your new book is about cancel culture. Isn't it one or the other? Isn't it free speech, artists grappling with horrific things? A lot of things are off limits, or nothing's off limits, in my mind at least.
A person gets lynched. In the
Yes.
course of the lynching, the person is incinerated. At the end of the lynching, his body parts are auctioned off, and those who are in the campgrounds where the lynching occurs, they start taking pictures of themselves holding the body parts which they purchased.
Sure.
Okay, that was a typical lynching in the American South. No, so I gave you the sequence of events. You seem to have a capacity for humor.
Yes.
Can you come up with something funny about that?
You're asking me to make a joke about Emmett Till right now? Is that what you're saying?
Or the equivalent. Yeah, could you do that?
So my mother, she was a real battle axe, and she lynched me, and then she sold my body parts for
You know
money.
what? First of all,
And I
that's
was
not
telling
funny.
my therapist, wait, you asked me to do something
Okay.
impossible.
Okay.
You set my ass up. And I
agree.
really think we're being set up by
I
this
agree.
20-year-old
I agree.
who thought it'd be funny if we did this. He's really fucking with both of us right now. Asking me to do a joke about a lynching.
That's my point.
Why don't you say a nice thing about Alan Dershowitz, huh? It's funny, he
No, but
broke
you
his
just
neck.
made
huh?
my point.
What's the point?
You said that if you hold fast to the principle that creative people should have the right to make humor of any situation, then there should be no taboo topics. And
I think there's
replied-
a difference
and I
between
replied-
that and being hateful, right? So
No,
I think like in evaluating
I think
art,
there are certain topics.
so you disagree with the premise of your own book then?
No, I don't disagree
Why?
with the premise.
What is cancel culture in your mind?
What is cancel
How would you
culture?
define it?
Okay. Cancel culture to me is putting restrictions on free speech. Let me finish. Free speech.
I won.
So no, I know you think
I
you
just
won,
won.
but you didn't win.
So admit I won.
Because I do think through my arguments.
Okay,
okay.
continue.
Putting restrictions on free speech, which is speech designed in order to find truth.
Uh-huh.
It's not just free speech, like I have the God-given right to say whatever I want. That kind of free speech doesn't really much interest me. So let me finish. Allow me to finish.
Sorry.
It's your program.
I'm
Allow me
annoying.
to finish.
Sorry,
I'm
yeah.
asking permission. You're in a classroom,
You're the man.
okay? If a person says something which another person doesn't want to hear, but what the person says, it has some idea there, some thought there, then I will have to be very firm. You may not like what he has to say, but he has the right to say it. I had a situation where the issue of Rodney King came up. And he said that Rodney King was acting in a very aggressive
He was
fashion.
drunk. They always say
He
he was
wasn't drunk. He was on drugs.
He was on drugs, yeah.
And therefore the police had the right to restrain him and so on
Yeah,
and so
it's
forth.
stupid.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there was a black woman in the class who started to cry. And the sympathies, of course, shifted to her. Everybody then, of course, looked at me. How was I going to resolve it? This was a white male who happened to be from the South, who was defending the police actions. Here was the black woman in a school which was 99.9% white, that's a fact, who broke down in tears. I defended his right to continue.
Sure.
However, you may not agree with the argument, but he had an argument, and you have to answer an argument with an argument. But does that mean I, as the professor or a student,
Yes.
has the right, in the name of free speech, to refer to another student as a n***, a cunt, or a c***? Do they have that right? My answer is no, because that does not contribute to trying to find truth. That is simply a bludgeon in order to silence somebody. So in the case of the joke,
It was funny. It
I-
was pretty funny, my joke.
there are certain areas which are not susceptible to humor. You know, I grew up in a Jewish home with the Nazi Holocaust in the background and actually in the foreground and in the middle ground. It
Same.
was
Yeah.
everywhere. Our home was saturated with it, okay?
Uh-huh.
So once in a while there would be arguments in the house and my father would say to my mother, "You're worse than Hitler," okay? And we would say the meals were worse than Auschwitz,
Sure.
okay?
Can you imagine how bad? Oy vey. They were, and the service. The service must have been horrible.
There are certain times, you know, right now offhand, I can't remember them, and maybe I'm suppressing them, when my mother got very angry. That is not funny, you know. At the end, I'll tell you, it's almost Woody Allen-ish. My mother died of a terrible cancer.
Uh-huh.
It consumed her whole face. Her whole face was blood and boils. It was literally out of a science fiction movie.
Like Woody Allen?
What?
What do you mean it was like Woody Allen?
No, I said like a science fiction
Oh,
movie.
yeah, okay, sorry.
And she got very bitter. She got so bitter with life. First Hitler,
Sure.
and then this horrible, horrible death. And she took her bitterness out on the home attendants, okay?
The servants.
The home attendants.
Yeah.
And my mother said things which I was not happy about.
Sure.
I was very angry. And I said to her, "Please stop.
Of
You're
course.
destroying my memory of you. I'm just going to remember the way you are now." At one point, she's lying in the bed. I'm here, quarreling about the home attendants and the nasty things she was saying. I said, "Mom, you're just a Nazi. You sound like a Nazi." And she would say, "Me? He's calling me a Nazi." It was like,
It was funny.
it was
It
weird.
was funny.
It was weird.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It
You
was
went there.
weird.
You really
Yeah.
went there. You
We-
stepped in it.
we weren't laughing.
Yeah, yeah.
We weren't laughing.
It's a pretty horrific world we live in.
I
Do you
say
think that the Doors should have been censored for having such stupid songs?
the Doors?
Yeah, yeah.
What was one of their stupid songs?
Oh, all of it. You gotta listen to these lyrics. Ride the Snake.
I definitely do not know the Door. I know the name.
You don't know the Doors?
No.
What music do you know?
I like classical music. I like Motown. I think Levi Stubbs, the Four Tops were
Uh-huh.
spectacular. I think Mahalia Jackson, if you know her. I think the song The Beatles was very good.
Some?
Before Sergeant Pepper.
You think
It
it
was
was-
mostly chewing gum.
But it's nice for
But then
kids.
it was pretty good.
If you play 8 days a week for a kid, it's like nice. Dun, da, 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 da. It's nice. Ooh, I need your love. I'm gonna play that for my kids.
I'm really happy to hear that.
Was this fun?
Um,
You think I'm smart? I beat you on a couple things. You have to admit.
Can you remind me which?
I don't know, all the smart stuff. I really crushed that that body parts being sold bit.
Well, how do you feel about your transition to serious interviewing?
To this?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was on a moronic podcast, and I was a nebbishy heel. People called me a bug, and I had to tell my parents that that's how I made money. Transitioning away from that, but I can't even. I still have to be a
think-
schmuck when I'm talking to a brilliant mind like
I
yourself.
think you have to. I'm not sure how you do it.
You love me.
How you.
You love me. Admit
Because
it.
Johnny Carson had serious guests. And how you make the transition from a serious guest to humor, I'm not sure how you do it. I think it's not so easy.
I think our audience they're drooling on themselves. You have to find a way to bridge the gap
well, I'm not
and
humorless.
beat him at a free speech
I'm not
debate.
humorless.
They're gonna.
Right.
I'm gonna go like this. They're gonna be cheering. It's gonna be like the end of Star Wars with the Ewoks. They'll be like, Adam, you did it. Finkelstein folded. Dershowitz is gonna be there. He's gonna give me a medal. Norman Finkelstein.
Nice to meet you.
Give it up for him. Watch me. Do the trick. Adam. Oh, it's fine. Okay, thanks a lot. Wow, that's nice, no?
Did that work?
Yeah. That's a cut. You thought it was a waste of your time, though. I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do you? It goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift, the baffled king sorry. Compose it, hallelujah. I fucked up a little bit. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Your faith was strong, but you needed proof to see her bathing on the roof. Stormy Daniels. Her beauty in the moonlight overthrew you. She tied you in the kitchen chair. The kitchen chair. She broke your throne and she cut your hair. From your lips, she drew, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.